Alright, hello everybody and welcome back to a new video. Today we are turning water into ice. Alright, first we need all of our materials. First we have is our sodium acetate crystals. Then we have 2 liquid sodium acetates. We've got a plastic bag, a dropper, and a measuring cup. And that's what we need for this experiment. So first, what really happens is the sodium acetate gets hot when it freezes. So we're not really making ice, we're making hot ice in a sense. And this is often used for portable hand warmers in the winter. So you're just making a nice hand warmer for yourself when it gets cold. And it can be used repeatedly like a hand warmer. Alright, so now the first step is we're going to take 1 bag of the sodium acetate, the liquid sodium acetate, and then we're going to cut a hole inside it. Now you see that hole, what we're going to put in there are a few of these crystals. And these crystals, then a crystallization will happen. Alright, so now here is our liquid and here are our crystals, and now we're going to just pour some crystals in, and now the water into ice wonder will happen. Right, here we go. Do you see that? Oh. And it's extremely hot right now. Extremely hot, but you see that is ice. You can see, and it's exactly like what is used in hand warmers. And as you can see, some of it is slowly turning into ice. Right, and once it turns into ice, we're going to want to put it in our plastic bag. Okay. But do you see the crystals that are forming? It's actually very hard to touch because it is so hot. It is a very nice hand warmer. It really is. So now after the crystallization happens, we're going to want to add this into a plastic bag. So what we're just going to do is we're just going to pour it. Try and nicely pour it. Get it into our plastic bag. Right, so now it is fully sealed in the plastic bag. You can see that there's like steam starting to gather inside the bag from the heat, right here. And now we're just going to wait and see what happens to this. And then in a while we'll be back to see what happened. Since this experiment is recyclable, the next step that you could do once you have your crystals is we're going to get some boiling water. And then we're going to place all these crystals in the boiling water. And then I guess you just have to find out what happens. So now for the second part of the experiment, this is freshly boiled hot water. I put 60 milliliters of it into this measuring cup. And then for afterwards, you want to have, I just took this bowl because it fit with the measuring cup of cold water, because later the experiment will need to cool down. So what we're going to do now is we're going to place these crystals into this boiling hot water. And then we'll see what happens. Alright, so this is how you do it. We take this plastic bag. The bag must be sealed. Then we're going to place it into the boiling hot water like that. And then we're going to see what happens. And we're going to stir it around just to make sure that every part of it gets into the hot water, every part of the crystal. And now we have to wait till all of the crystals disappear. And as you can see, the water's always getting, or the bag's always getting a bit more moving, I guess, or it's always becoming more liquidy. We can see it. The crystals are starting to disappear. You can only see like small white parts. And if you just give it a while and you look at also like at the edges of the bag here, you can already see it's like fully liquid. And then you'll see what happens. This is one of the reasons towards why it's a reusable experiment. So really, once you get the hang of how to do this for the winter, like I said at the start, you'll have infinite, well, in a sense free hand warmers, because it's almost done. But in a minute, you'll see what comes out of this bag. Right, so it's been about a minute since last time that we saw it. Well, not really, but. And here, this is just like some smaller rests, and then all of the crystals are almost fully dissolved. And once all crystals are fully dissolved, what we need to do is we're going to need to take the plastic bag out of here, and we're going to place it in our bowl of cold water to cool it down, because, as I said, it's a reusable experiment. It's a reusable experiment, and before you use the liquid sodium acetate again, you have to cool it down, and it has to be at normal temperature or below normal temperature. Then you can use it again. So that's where we're going to cool it down. You can also just leave it on your table and it will naturally cool down. But for the sake of this experiment, I'm going to take the fast way and cool it down in water. So I shortly took the bag out to show you. But this is where we're at the minute. We can see it's almost fully dissolved. See at the bottom, there are still like very tiny crystals. You can't see them on camera. On camera, it just looks like a white line, but in reality, there's like a load of little crystals everywhere, and we just have to wait till those dissolve in the hot water. And then step 2 can commence. So, the ice hasn't yet quite liquefied, but I want to show you guys something that I just found out. Is if it's like if it's not fully liquefied yet and you put it into your cold water, this is why it's very important to wait until it's fully liquefied, because this is what happens if you put it in the cold water. You put it like this, you put it in, and then it just instantly crystallizes. So really all the work that you've just waited for has gone straight back into crystals, and then the whole waiting process for the water to liquefy will have to restart. So here, just so you see it again, now it's all back to being crystals. Now what we're going to do is we're going to nicely place it back into our hot water, which is not so hot anymore, or not so boiling anymore, and we're going to let it liquefy. Alright, so now it's fully liquefied again. You can see me behind it, but yeah, it's fully liquefied again, and it's ready for its next use. But thank you very much for watching this video, and hopefully you tag along in the experiment. I look forward to seeing you next time.